Yes, Yeluji, I'm ready now.
Okay, wonderful. Another 2 more minutes. मनीषा जी, आपको प्रदीप जी का शेयर किया हूँ। सुमित जी, मैं आपके साथ मंगीलाल जाट जी का शेयर करूंगा। इन केस इफ एनी टेक्निकल डिफिकल्टीज यू विल रीच यू।
Thank you.
सुमित जी, आर यू रेडी?
Yes.
For YouTube?
Yes, we are live on YouTube now.
फुल जी?
Namaskar. My name is Praful. I am a volunteer with GIST, the Global Indian Scientists and Technocrats Forum. 5 years ago, some of us came together and noticed two trends that's going on in the world. First of all, Western medicine, the allopathic way of thinking, the so-called modern science, was going more and more towards the idea that sleep, diet, exercise is the core of health. Everything else is supposed to be supplementary to the basic discipline, the basic yoga, the basic Ayurveda that our civilization has known for millennia. At the same time, as India has been developing, the cost per calorie has been declining, which is a good thing, but it's been declining in a way that we were kind of more going toward ultra processed food, more going away from our basic tenets of the Sanatan. So that's when some of us got together 5 years ago today under the leadership of Yeluji Rao and under the auspices of the Global Indian Scientists and Technocrats Forum and asked a very simple question. Why can't we share this information, this insight, this just knowledge? It's not about money, it's not about food, it's just the knowledge of local sustenance, of eating more naturally, which, by the way, as I said, even modern science is saying, even the Western science is saying. And we started Aahaar Kranti. 5 years out, we have had multiple impact. I'm sure you will hear through the event the impact that we are having on the ground in India, as well as amongst the diaspora of Indians around the world. And today we are here to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of the thing. So, Yelviji, maybe this is the right time to start that jingle, and I'll come back and introduce our first speaker.
Maybe we start with the video first.
With the video, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes. Share. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Maximize it. There you go.
India, one of the largest producers of fruits and vegetables across the globe, is also one of the largest consumer population, with food and grocery having the largest share in the consumption market. However, a WHO report says that India does not consume the recommended quantity of fruits and vegetables in their diet. Thus, it is host to the highest number of malnourished people in the world. The need of the hour is a revolution focused around adding nutrition, its education and agriculture. Knowing the importance of adding more nutritious value to our diet, and with a vision of Vishwa Mangala Hetave, Vijnana Bharati or Vibha, and the Global Indian Science and Technocrat GIST Forum has launched Aahaar Kranti to add nutritional value to every Indian meal. IT brings together the best academic minds across the globe to address and establish a role model platform, or Aahaar Kranti, to eliminate malnourishment from the entire developing world. Leveraging its science-based knowledge on Indian foods, Aahaar Kranti is not only building awareness about nutrition, but providing knowledge for a sustainable food ecosystem as well. Under the umbrella of Aahaar Kranti, various online and offline campaigns, learning and information materials are developed to create food awareness across India, with the idea to establish India as a role model in eliminating hunger while securing recommended share of nutrition in regular food. To get success in its mission, Aahaar Kranti invites every single citizen in the country to come together and help us make a healthier, a better India for tomorrow. Along with its partners, Vibha and GIST believes that a healthier India is a must for our holistic growth to position ourselves again as Vishwa Guru.
You can also play the jingle. Let's see, jingle. That is one of the very favorite thing from our Nanda Kumarji. This jingle is in 2 languages. So let's play Hindi first. Hey.
चलो चलो सब सुन लो, आई है आहार क्रांति, तन मन की शक्ति पूर्ति लाई है आहार क्रांति। चलो चलो सब सुन लो, आई है आहार क्रांति, तन मन की शक्ति पूर्ति लाई है आहार क्रांति। उज्जवल भविष्य सोचे, दौड़े सपनों के पीछे, सपनों को अपने अपने स्वास्थ्य से हम सींचे। जब कठिन समय आया था, कोविड का डर छाया था, अपने आहार मूल्यों संग ये देश लड़ पाया था। पोषण से भरे हैं अपने मिट्टी के मोती, आज पोषण से भरे हैं अपने मिट्टी के मोती। तन मन की शक्ति पूर्ति लाई है आहार क्रांति, तन मन की शक्ति पूर्ति लाई है आहार क्रांति। चलो चलो सब सुन लो, आई है आहार क्रांति, तन मन की शक्ति पूर्ति लाई है आहार क्रांति।
Are you playing the next one?
No, this is fine for now. We'll go later.
Okay,
Another
we'll
video
later.
later.
Thank you, Elegy. So I mean, we got together a very interesting panel for you. Before we start, I would just request everyone to mute yourself, uh, ask questions only on the chat for now, and wait till the end of the prepared program for asking live questions. I'm sure speakers will answer a lot of your questions already in their talk. So as you can see on the screen, we have a very interesting collection of people. On the one end, we have Swami Advaitanandji, who is actually a saint from Tapasvi from the Himalaya. On the other hand, you have Srinivas Ravji and Rashmiji, who are like technocrats, entrepreneurs of modern world. And then we have Gaurangji, who is from my alma mater. He's a technocrat and is taking that knowledge to the relevance of Sanatan in a modern way. So it's a very interesting panel. I would start by inviting Dr. Srinivas Rao. He is also called Dr. Kinwa. He is someone who really epitomizes the values of Aahaar Kranti. He is a science-based researcher on nutrition. He has been working all his life as an entrepreneur and as a scientist on essentially spreading the nutrition awareness. And today he's going to talk about his involvement with Aahaar Kranti, which has been from day one. Dr. Rao?
Yes, thank you very much, Prafulji, and everybody else, my respects. But let me start and save time for everybody else. I'm so happy that this is the 5th year and we are all working on this. This time, I have come up with a 3-point idea about the whole Aahaar Kranti. Let us debate, discuss, and see if it is practical implement. We reflect on 5 years of Aahaar Kranti. We are recognizing quite a powerful shift in how we treat our food, health, and our future globally. I say globally because India itself is so big, and treating that from north to south, east to west itself is called globally, and it can be a great example for the rest of the world. Aahaar Kranti began with a simple fact that India does not suffer from lack of food. And that insight is transformative. The future of health in India will be determined by how wisely we choose, combine, and consume what we already have in India. For the past 4 years, as Prafulji mentioned, me and my team of probably 100 various dietitians, students, doctors have contributed to the sentence that I said just now. The future of health in India will be determined by how wisely we choose, combine, and consume what we already have. This is just a repeat of current data of India's food consumption and production in 24 to 25 from the Government of India PBI news. We produce several million tons in excess of various foods. But the problem is, this is from the EAT Commission, which did not change in the last few years, and Government of India did not produce a similar plan for India itself. Therefore, I'm taking South Asia as the representative of India. Obviously, India is a major player in there. There are 11 different types of food groups that we are supposed to eat, and India is consuming only starch in large quantities, excess of 125%. That's the problem. Now the challenge is, on one hand, our production is more than need. On the other hand, we are facing rising levels of lifestyle diseases, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, micronutrient deficiencies, and lakhs of rupees when you go to hospitals. That is hurting much more than the disease itself for vast majority of patients. Why? Because food behavior has changed faster. Today, whatever is available in the United States as KFC, this, that, and all are available in all small towns as well. But the food wisdom that US has generated or thousands of years back India generated did not spread. We have policies in the government, we have awareness campaigns, we have knowledge sitting in the databases, but behavior change remains slow and low. And this is where Aahaar Kranti has made a crucial contribution in the last 4 years and 5 years and continuing, and I hope it will make further actual implementations. It has shifted the focus from information to implementation. We know many groups have met, and from complex guidelines to simple daily habits, various charts, various programs, various ideas, including the jingles and the videos played here. Yet, country is big. We need the power of a simple message. Big health transformations do not come from complicated plans. They come from small, repeatable daily actions. As highlighted in the framework, we are discussing today 3 simple, practical actions that can create a massive impact if adapted widely. I'm sure some of you are very young to know about this fact, but this is a remarkable fact in my family and in the entire India for millions. In 1965, Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri in a radio announcement said, "Eat 1 meal less per week." Since then, my family, my mother, grandfather, and all the family members adopted Saturday night no meals. And that in 5 years, by 70s, made India become largely self-sufficient in food grains, ending large-scale imports and building buffer stocks. This he did in Ahmedabad. And a person who was there, Dr. Bhagavatala Parameswar Rao, actually told me this rather than picking up from a news item. 1 seasonal fruit daily. These are the 3 ideas that I am presenting to you now. Let us discuss, debate in the months to come and take it forward under Aahaar Kranti. A simple idea, 1 fruit a day. Not imported, not exotic, just seasonal local fruit. Why is this powerful? Because it is easy to understand, affordable, rich in essential nutrients. Second one, half plate of vegetables, fruits to eat. And this rule can actually make a big change. This has to be announced, just as eat 1 meal. Half of your plate should be vegetables and fruits, whether you are a vegetarian or non-vegetarian. No calorie counting, no confusion, no protein, no fat, no carbohydrate. Just the plate, eat and enjoy. This one shift automatically reduces excess cereals, refined foods, and unhealthy fillers. It increases fiber, vitamins, and supports gut health. Rashmiji will talk about it later. This is a plate. In the last few months, my team has developed 50% fruits and vegetables, 15% whole grains, 20% legumes. We have 40 legumes, and nuts 5%, seeds 5%, dairy if you like 5%. Otherwise, you can substitute the nuts, seeds, and other materials. If you are eating non-vegetarian, that 15% can go towards non-vegetarian. This plate is the latest one. We are going to publish about it. The third one, the last one, is to replace 1 packaged snack, including myself. All of us on this presentation today must have had a pack or a packed food item. Please try to reduce 1 so that you can adapt to natural foods. We are living in the time where convenience has overtaken nutrition. Packaged snacks have quietly become a daily habit. So instead of asking people to eliminate them completely, which one may fail, we propose something realistic. With what? Roasted chana, peanuts, fruits, sprouts, boiled corn. the way forward. As Aahaar Kranti enters its next phase, the question is not what more should we add? The question is how do we scale what already works, what already we did? And the answer lies in the three principles: simplicity, visibility, reproducibility, repeatability. The messages that we have, please bring all of them, and they should be communicated simply with the simplicity, make them visible, and see that they are repeated. Schools, offices, communities, families, I know that you are all covering many, many areas, and please continue with that. My closing thought, let me conclude with a simple reflection. In nature, only man, only we believe health lies in hospitals, medicines, technology. But Aahaar Kranti reminds us of something deeper. The future of health lies in our kitchens, our habits, and in everyday choices. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I really liked the way you emphasized the simplicity of message. Three simple things: eat one seasonal fruit. Every meal should have half fruits and vegetables, and eat one less packaged food per day. And that itself is such a powerful message. Thank you for that. Um, Next, we will move to Dr. Kulkarni. She has been again a part of Aahaar Kranti for a bit now. She's truly a global citizen who's lived across continents, across countries. And right now, one thing I would commend is she's joining from the war zone in Qatar. The uh, the other very remarkable thing about her, as you will find, is that she has taken the principles of Aahaar Kranti not only to her life, her family's life, but also to her career. And she will talk more about it. Dr. Kulkarni, if you could share your screen or start the presentation.
Thank you so much, Prafulji. Namaste, everyone. So without spending any time on formalities, I'm just beginning my talk. One thing I would like to just mention here, if you hear any alarms or something, please do not get scared. It's on my side. So let me focus on something that is very, very dear to my heart, which is the gut microbiome. It is our invisible organ, and I'll briefly explain why this is the future of human health and disease. So just a little bit about myself. These are conditions that I was suffering from for a very long time, like migraine, weight issues. I was a very lean person. I didn't know I had weight issues. I had plantar fasciitis, black knuckles in winter, which were drying and bleeding, cystic acne. This was until a few years ago. And the only thing I did in order to fix all of this was focus on my gut health. So this is my picture 3 months after this, when I just paid a little bit more attention and I got rid of everything that I was suffering from. So let me introduce you to what that means. If we talk about the microbiome or gut health, there have been enough references right from Krimi in our ancient texts, right from the Vedas, Samhitas, and the Puranas, to the description of the microbiome by Antony van Leeuwenhoek in the 17th century, to the most recent beautiful publications, the wonderful research that has been done in the field of gut health and the microbiome as a whole. So we got one of our reels got 1 million views for the wrong reasons, because I had mentioned a shocking reality in that. Scientists worldwide are warning parents that, this is the first time that our generation will outlive the children. And this is a very stark fact, a reality that we all need to consider. Today's children are looking at facing shorter lifespan than their parents because of an explosion of chronic inflammation, lifestyle disorders, mental health disorders. We just had somebody come in who was a 4-year-old with ulcerative colitis. Something has changed fundamentally. And unless we wake up to this, unless we find out what is going wrong, unless we understand what gut health really means, like I'm introducing right now. See, if we look at the ancient traditional practices, it was considering the whole human body, the mind, and the environment around it. This is who we really are. But if we look at modern medicine right now, it has broken down the human body into just visible organs. We are talking about it as if they are functioning individually: lung disease, heart disease, kidney disease. But if we actually look at the ancient microbiome science, the modern microbiome science, we also have an invisible organ, which is made up of trillions of microorganisms that we obviously cannot see. And these are more in numbers than our own cells. They perform a phenomenal number of functions that we are unaware of. This is what makes us completely human, along with our visible organs, the environment around us, and everything. So what are these germs doing in our body? The largest collection of these microbes or germs is in our gut. It is called the gut microbiome. Do you know how much it weighs? 1.5 to 2 kilograms in our large intestine. They are everywhere in our body, but this is the largest collection. And let me introduce you to some of the functions that they are doing. This is just the tip of the iceberg. They help us in digesting fiber. We cannot digest it at all. So think of all the digestive disorders people are suffering from just because they do not have the right bacteria in their gut. They also help us in making many of the B vitamins, absorbing minerals. Think about all of the deficiencies that people have that they are trying to resolve by taking supplements. Instead of that, if we focused on bringing back the right gut bacteria, all of these issues would be resolved. They also help in secreting insulin, in hormone regulation, in training our immune system. Don't we have waves of different infections? That's because most people have a poorly trained immune system. They help build strong bones, muscles, heart health, and very importantly, in mental health as well. These are just some of the functions that they are doing. So what do we do instead? We don't know about the microbiome, and then we go on to kill microbes all day long with the use of disinfectant sprays, antibiotics, hand sanitizers, hand soaps, body washes, antimicrobial toothpaste. We have even started seeing resistance to triclosan. It's a antibacterial used in toothpaste, antimicrobial wipes, floor cleaners. Where do you think we can get any of these microbes from to build our microbiome? This is one big reason why we see the global health crisis, where we are looking at epidemics or even pandemic levels of chronic diseases, all kinds of chronic diseases, poor concentration, poor memory, fatigue. So, we might think that, oh, these are all unrelated. But if we look at any health condition, there have been 130 different health conditions that are extremely well studied in the field of the microbiome. And one common theme is that there is no health condition in the world where the microbiome is healthy. Let that sink in for a second. So if we think about all of this, isn't it high time we look at the microbiome with open eyes? Initially, yes, it was very difficult to cure infections, and antibiotics played a huge role in letting us get rid of these infections. So the germ theory was that all microbes are harmful. But in the 21st century, now we know, we knew that earlier as well, if we look at the Ayurvedic and the traditional practices. But we had lost out on all of that information somehow. It is high time we bring it back. They're essential for life. If we kill bacteria, if we kill germs, it is the root cause of major lifestyle diseases. So we need to restore the balance. It has been shown in many industrialized and industrializing nations that chronic diseases are much higher than countries that are not so developed. So this includes many forms of cancer, diabetes, allergies, asthma, heart disease, psychiatric diseases, autoimmune disease, and many more. Our gut is always talking to us, but are we actually listening to it? There are many, many symptoms that we see, and we need to really pay attention to it. There are many factors that are playing a role, as I said. And if we look at the use of GLP-1 agonists that people are using for weight loss, that is also something that the microbiome can naturally make. So this is the kind of non-nutritious diet we have been eating, while forgetting all of these other nutrients that our diet should be comprised of. In Aahaar Kranti, we do a really good job of actually introducing people to the traditional foods that you can see here. So if we look at mental health, I'll just take one more minute, that if we look at our mental health, the chemicals that are made in our brain, there are many of these that are made by the gut microbiome in our gut. And these are extremely important for our mental health and digestion. Some of these you can see here in a microbiome testing report, that this individual has non-ideal levels of many of the neurotransmitters, which impact not just physical health, but mental health as well. And we know of all of these from experiments done on germ-free mice as to why these are important and how these are important. So this is another microbiome testing report where we can see that this healthy individual has a lot of these bacteria in the gut. There are very few that are missing. This is from an unhealthy person where the list is very short. There are very few good bacteria in the person's gut and many of them are missing. This correlates directly with health. You can see the chemicals that they should be making, they're all missing. So this also gives us an idea about the disease risk for this person. This is one very important reason why we need to bring in the microbiome friendly lifestyle. These are extremely simple. All of the traditional things that we all know of, outdoor activities, a diverse rainbow diet, deep breathing practices, meditation, socializing, hydration, eating fermented foods that have live germs, fiber-rich foods, exercise, and sleep. These are some extremely simple things that we can all do to improve our microbiome and reduce the risk of all kinds of chronic diseases dramatically. Isn't that a very simple thing? In this stressful situation, the only thing I'm doing right now in the war zone is to focus on my gut health. Thank you so much.
Our wishes with you, Rashmiji. I mean, your message is so simple. Like, you are telling us about the dangers of ignoring it, but then the solution is also so simple, like back to eating healthy and sleeping well and exercising. But our best wishes to you and family. Hope you stay safe in the war zone. Thank you so much for coming here today, even from those circumstances.
Thank you.
Next, I want to call Vivekanandji. He is as an architect by training, but in his life, he has architected a much more impactful thing. He's a general secretary of Vigyan Bharati. He is the architect of their science popularization program, particularly about vernacular science. And he is one of the brains behind this amazing refrain, Kanat se Kalam Tak, basically bringing together the ancient science and the modern scientific achievements of India. So, Vivekanandji, please continue.
Yeah, Dhanyavad Praful Krishnaji. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, very clearly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll be talking, but I cannot open the video because I am in a traffic jam. So I just
no problem at all.
Talk to you. Yeah. And it has been, I heard Srinivas Raoji's and Rashmi Kulkarniji's talk also. It's very, very impressive and it's very, very relevant to our times. As we say, the simple fact is that wherever in the world where the generations have moved on to the fast food culture, there is no example all over the planet which has any population which has gone back from the fast food culture. So that is the power of fast food culture and the impact of that. What Rashmiji made, that very important statement that ours will be probably the first generation where our kids will be living less than ourselves. That is the impact of this whole thing that is grasping the world. So it is very important that we make sure that our future generations understand the importance of food. Actually, it has been very early on mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. Bhagavan Krishna says that Annad Bhavanti Bhutani. So recently I heard a lecture by Swami Sarvapriyanandaji where he also mentioned, and that is when it clicked actually, that a physiologist told him that you are nothing but food rearranged. So every iota of us is from the food that we take or the sunlight that we receive. And that is the importance of food, that it makes us not just the physical body, even the mental body and even the spiritual body, it influences. So that is one of the things. And Vigyan Bharati has been the Swadeshi science movement of Bharat. Swadeshi science meaning not, we all know science is universal, but Swadeshi science means every science has uniqueness, unique aspects based on its origin. For example, we say yoga today. Yoga is accepted worldwide, but it has its own unique characteristics because of its Indian origins. And it is similar in the case of Ayurveda. Now, Rashmiji mentioned about how this about gut microbiome and all Ayurveda has mentioned thousands of years back. See, the thing is, when we talk about yoga, Ayurveda, and other Bharatiya concepts, one unique thing about them is that it is always looking at uh, the whole cosmos, not just in terms of materialism, but also in terms of spirituality. That the fundamental question, who am I? It has an answer from the Bharatiya philosophy, and it looks at everything from our food habits, our lifestyle, our um, every aspect of our life. It is based on this balance between science and spirituality, and that is one of the fundamental uh, points of Vigyan Bharati's thought process. And the other two points are Indian heritage in science, Kannada to Kalam, as you already mentioned, and also science in Bharatiya languages. So based on this, we have been working since the 1980s. It started off in the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. And it was in 2002 that we started the first World Ayurveda Congress at Kochi. Now we are into the 11th edition of that World Ayurveda Congress. So we have a huge connect with Ayurveda. And we also started this program called Vidyarthi Vigyan Manthan, where we introduce a very significant content of Indian heritage in science. Today, it is very well incorporated in our new national education policy by the name of Indian Knowledge Systems (IKS), which we call Bharatiya Gyan Parampara. So these two were connected during the COVID time, and we had a program for our Vidyarthi Vigyan Manthan students. It also went on to have a Guinness record, where the students actually measured their breakfast. What are the food miles that it included their breakfast plate? Now Srinivasa Rauji mentioned about the food plate. So we made them measure the food plate, not just the calorific value, it also measured the food miles, because just now he mentioned about having one fruit which is local and it has its own characteristics for this thing. So from that idea, this emerged, that the idea of Aahaar Kranti from that experience. And now the Global Indian Scientists and Technocrats Forum has very beautifully taken it up. And we would like to actually expand this experience, this message across the country. And I'm sure GIST is also doing this same in the US in the form of Nutrition 360, and we can expand it to other societies also. We have a huge network in the country with the students, and we are in close contact with the GIST team. So initially this program started, I remember there was a calendar prepared showing different kind of foods and what are their implications, just like Rashmiji mentioned now. So we can make those contents and similar contents more in a much more communicative way. We have much more efficient tools today, both for visual presentation as well as digital communication. So we can make use of them and we can take it to different schools. We have a huge network, and then also spread the same message to the public in general. And this is going to actually define. Today we have one of the youngest populations in the world. That is what we all say, we all know. But there is also this challenge that in another 25 years, this demographic dividend is going to evaporate. So we have to act very fast so that we don't have a crisis of health in after 25 years when we are talking about this Amrit Kal and Viksit Bharat. So that is one of the key driving factors why Vijnana Bharati is also very much concerned that this message has to go across. And every tool possible and every karyakarta that we have, we would like to pass this message on through him to the maximum number of people. We are also having plans to expand our student network through Vibha Science Club, Science on Wheels in the coming year. So we can make use of all those platforms and so many other IAMs we have. We can use them to actually pass on this message to a much wider society. So that is what we are looking at, as Srinivas Raoji mentioned about the first phase of Aahaar Kranti, and now we are going to a next phase. So this is, our network is just one of it. But India is such a large country. We have nearly 1.45 billion people, and also the world needs it. So we will have to make use of every network possible, available, whether it is a government or non-government or civic society. Let us try to create a kind of a mechanism by which this message goes to every person in a much more attractive way, so that we are not just talking, because the Gen Z, whatever I have interacted with, when we talk to them about healthy food, there is an aversion, inbuilt, immediate. So that is why we have to actually understand, though we are saying all these facts, we will have to devise a communication mechanism which will be much more attractive, because the message is important. The way we communicate is also equally important. So let us all put our efforts together, hands together, and heads together to achieve that goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivekananji. I mean, what you say about Gen Z, and I have a 16-year-old as well. They are Gen Alpha, Gen Z, but the whole idea around gamification that you talked about, the food miles, gamification is such a kind of known concept in Silicon Valley. It is used for the other purpose, which is to get people addicted to screens. But if we can use that for some healthy purpose like this, it will be so amazing. Thank you so much for joining, even from the traffic jam.
Dhanyavad.
Next, let me call on Gaurang Dasji. He is the director of the Govardhan Eco Village. Sorry, go ahead.
Second, Prafulji. I think Gaurangji is not here yet. I'm trying to get him. In the meanwhile, let's see. Somebody who is in the waiting room. Somebody is in the waiting room. I can't see. Nandakumarji, can you look into it, whether Gaurangji is there? Nandakumarji? In the meanwhile,
doing that.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, let us take a video, promo video. And
Nice.
Yeah, let's see here. Share. Zoom, share. There you go.
Do you know, India produces just double the calories required by the whole population of the country, but still, malnutrition is one of the biggest problems in our country. The biggest reason behind this problem is lack of understanding and knowledge about nutrition and balanced diet. It has always been considered that a nutritious diet is very complicated and costly, but that's not true, and thus the Aahaar Kranti concept came into existence.
1 second, I think.
Like Vigyan Prasar and Prabhas. This initiative hopes to bring every Indian and global citizens together for better nutritional and agricultural practices. Our motto is Uttam Aahaar, Uttam Vichar. Take a look at our manifesto. Aahaar Kranti is designed in such a way that it connects with each pillar of the society, regardless of language, platform, and economical condition. We have designed all the necessary scientific nutritional data, facts, and checkpoints in a very easy to learn manner, and we will start dissipating this knowledge through Anganwadis, schools, NGOs, etc. In this way, we will target teacher and students and then individuals, families, and societies about the subject. To make an in-depth reach, we have designed it platform independent from mobile to web and offline as well. So to communicate this revolutionary concept, we are organizing an event on the Varsh Pratipada to mark the launch of this initiative. All Indians in India and abroad who are experts in Aahaar or just curious about it are invited to this virtual event on April 13th at 7 p.m. India time. The launch event marks the start of a journey in Ashtadisha. The overall goal is to ensure that people from all walks of life find something of interest to reignite the imagination about nutrition and its impact on physiological and psychological well-being. The idea of food-centered mass movement is not new. We have had Harit Kranti and Shwet Kranti, each of which transformed Indian society. Aahaar Kranti is only going to build upon that. Organized by GIST plus Vijnana Bharti. Uttam Aahaar, Uttam Vichar.
Now we'll hear the jingle, one of the Marathi jingle, I believe. Previously we heard Hindi one.
चला यारे ऐका रे अवतरली आहार क्रांती शक्ती संगे स्फूर्ती घेऊन आली आहार चला यारे ऐका रे अवतरली आहार क्रांती शक्ती संगे स्फूर्ती घेऊन आली आहार क्रांती चला यारे ऐका रे अवतरली आहार क्रांती शक्ती संगे स्फूर्ती घेऊन आली आहार क्रांती उज्ज्वल भवितव्याने स्वप्नांच्या मार्गाने स्वास्थ्याच्या साथीने चालावी आपली स्वप्ने जगास ठप्प कराया कोविडची काळी छाया पण आहाराने आपल्या दाखवून दिली किमया पोषणाने परिपूर्ण आपल्या मातीतले मोती पोषणाने परिपूर्ण आपल्या मातीतले मोती शक्ती संगे स्फूर्ती घेऊन आली आहार क्रांती शक्ती संगे स्फूर्ती घेऊन आली आहार क्रांती चला यार ऐका रे अवतरली आहार क्रांती शक्ती संगे स्फूर्ती घेऊन आली आहार क्रांती
Yoloji, you have to unmute.
Yes, I know. I was just trying to close the video. All right. Prafullaji, let's
Is Gaurangji
see.
here?
Gaurangji, I don't see him here. And Prajapati-ji, I try to reach him. Advaitananda Giriji is here.
Okay, so why don't we reshuffle the schedule?
Yoloji.
Wonderful. So we'll go to Advaitananda Giri Maharaj and I will share his parichay. Prafullaji, you can take it from there. Go ahead.
Sure, of course. Advaitanandaji, welcome to the forum. You have a inspirational lifestyle. You have gone back to the roots of Sanatan, to the Himalayan tradition. You are a tapasvi, and obviously that comes with a discipline in terms of Aahaar, in terms of vichar, which we are interested in learning from. it is sometimes in the modern culture thought of as anachronistic, like if you go and look at the mainstream media. But you are an example who is bridging that gap, and so I'm very curious to hear you talk. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Yellowji, if you can play the junk food rap I sent you for the Aahaar Kranti. Otherwise, I can also play.
Yellowji, you are on mute. Avitananji, why don't you go ahead and play?
No, I'm sharing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sharing.
This is the mechanism we found for the to connect with the Zenji. So, like,
yeah, you can introduce. Then I will start playing Advaitananji.
basically for the Aahaar, the daily practices, that what food to eat as per your Pravrti and Vikrati, what not to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat. And then aligning those Ayurvedic practices with the science, and then aligning with how the companies are catching the youth and attention and all of us. So in this way, I thought like we can connect more youth and then take some help of some, like the baby, if you know him, I spoke to him and he's looking interested in it, that if we can release with these famous musicians, then the reach increases. So let's go ahead, Yellowji.
Junk food, junk mood, fast and fake food. High spike, the bright crash soon. Zombie walk by afternoon. Real fuel, real glow. Ayurveda says go slow. One plate, one voice. Stop the rot, make the choice. Junk food, junk mood, fast and fake food. High spike, crash soon. Zombie walk by afternoon. Real fuel, real glow. Ayurveda says go slow. One plate, one voice. Stop the rot, make the choice. Rapper rips, the poison drips, synthetic bliss on your fingertips. You chasing a high, it's a dopamine lie. Eating lab-made trash while your energy dies. Look at the ingredients, can't read the name. Corporate dealers playing the game. Grease in the veins, fog in the brain. Trading your focus for 5 minutes of gain. Yeah. Neon cans that's liquid stress. Turning your temple into a mess. Gut is bloated, mind is cloudy. System shutting down, acting rowdy. Yeah, mirror don't lie. Look at the skin, that's the toxicity leaking within. You scream YOLO while eating the rust. Betraying your body, breaking the trust. They sell you sickness, they sell you the cure. Keep the mind weak so the profit is sure. They sell you sickness, they sell you the cure. Keep the mind weak so the profit is sure. Junk food, fast and fake food. High spike, crash soon, zombie walk by afternoon. Real fuel, real glow. Ayurveda says go slow. One plate, one voice. Stop the rot, make the choice. Flip the script, cut the wire, feed the Segani. Stoke the fire, no more dead food, no more decay. Set Vic, warrior, seize the day. Yeah. Sweat it out, let the toxins bleed. Eat like a king, born to lead. Not from a box, straight from the earth. Respect your value, know your worth. Yeah, simple grains, living greens. Wiping the slate, cleaning the scenes. 7 hours sleep, wake up beast mode. Cracking the ancient aortic code. Clear eyes, sharp mind. Leave the sluggish version behind. When the gut is clean, the vision is true. The world doesn't dictate, the master is you. You are not a trash can. You are not a product. Fuel the soul, take control. Junk food, junk mood, fast that fake food. High spike, crash soon, zombie walk by afternoon. Real fuel, real glow. Ayurveda says go slow. One plate, one voice. Stop the rot, make the choice. Sacred body, sacred mind. Leave the plastic. materialistic life behind. From junk fed pain to prana free, I choose health and God choose me. I choose health and God choose me. Junk food. Junk food. Junk food. Junk food.
Excellent.
Gee. Like this, 7 songs on Aahaar we will release by the end of April. One thing, Ji,
No,
please
please,
go
please
ahead.
continue.
The human, the solutions to the human problem or to expand our potentials till fullest are very simple, but it's also very surprising that as much the advancement we are having from technology, the life is not becoming better. If we take the data like from the time internet came to social networks came, and then like each social network that time of before Facebook and then after Facebook and then Instagram and then TikTok, and each time the attention span is decreasing. So that shows that we human being has not utilized the technology in a positive way. To reverse the cycle, we need to take Aahaar Kranti on the school level. So right now I'm in Delhi for this purpose only, and the trainings of 533 psychologists already done, and the next 4,000 teachers will be trained in next 3 months. And then replicating this to other states. If we can teach on the school level, then that will build the root. Policy 2020, and had privilege to meet Prime Minister. And in like before we tried for so many years, nothing happened, and Tanmay Mehta, his secretary, just gave me 3 minutes, and that meeting went for 35 minutes. And in one shot, entire thing was approved and sent to the education minister. So if we can click on the right places and then support those government department, then this change can be brought, because I saw the skill set is lacking and also the willingness. The teachers which we used to have a guru shishya relationship is no more. It's more like I'm doing my job, and that relationship is not there like how in our childhood we still remember our teachers and have respect for them. That is gone, like, okay, you study and then you are gone, and neither teacher remembers or no students remembers each other. So we're trying to bridge that gap also. And with that, we also need to like train through children, we need to reach the home. So here we, in the process to get approval where parents can be allowed for the weekend retreats, and whichever the family members are available, they can come to the school and then have these processes in such a way that where it get transmitted in them and habits can be changed. So all possible modalities, what we learned from our ancient wisdoms, we are trying to inculcate into the school system. With this, some movies and influencers who has the following, and children listen to them, and having alliances with them, so in many different ways, because a lot of people I discussed and mostly they wanted money. The baby was the only musician so far getting closer to the discussion where he's ready to do for free. Otherwise, they generally charge 300,000 for one song minimum. So like this, we have to explore all possible avenues and figure out ways by which we can make it work. In one way, if we click on the right places, it's very easy. In another way, we are like the education is actually not education, it's uneducation. If it was education, then we should have more love, more truth, more honesty as much the literacy is increasing. But as much the literacy, these values are decreasing. So we need to teach the right things. The message of Sa Vidya Ya Vimukte, the education is that which liberates, the education is that which brings utmost flowering to our being. And in that, they really need support. So from us, we should support the government system and also use the government's helps to bring that same change into the private schools. And have some kind of mandate for it, that it has to be done. That I mean, it's very basic that a human being should know, like what to eat and what not to eat. What education, what else the education we can give if we can't even give this much? I mean, I was looking at a lot of books, like yesterday I looked at a geography book. I mean, it teaches so much types of land in different parts of the world, but it doesn't teach like the basic thing, how you can plant a basic thing on like in your backyard, some veggies which you can eat or some fruit trees you can plant. So all those requires change, but one thing at a time. So right now we have taken this initiative of Manav Nirman and Aahaar Kranti we are bringing on the school level. In my life, like I did one experiment which was of Kuti Praveshikam. And 7 months I ate just 100 grams of Palas Amal Ki Rasayan. And I was very energetic and every day meditating 12 to 14 hours. And there was no other need of the food because more time was in meditation. In above Badrinath, like the Satopant and Swarga Rohini where I lived, I was keeping a combination of like 2 kg of grain, then half kg of lentils, and then half kg of almond, half kg of raisins, 20 grams, and little bit of tricuta and cardamom. And like this was my diet for pretty much whole year, and it was extremely energetic and I mean, there was no lack of energy. So if the food is taken with good mood and exercises are done on time, like 100 gram was my daily food. So most like 2 a.m. I will wake up, and then till 11 a.m. 1 p.m. I will go in meditation, and then break, and then 5 to 8 p.m. another meditation, and then sleep. And I was only needing 100 gram of food, and I did it for 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. And there was nothing I was lacking. So I'm not saying those things need to go into the everyday curriculum, but how important it is when we conserve our energy and utilize our ancient wisdom of meditation, then the need of food becomes much lesser. So to sum it up, I would say utilize our resources by which we produce quality material and push into the education system. So our children on root level can learn how to have proper Aahaar. Taking the help of movies and influencing people, so our message reaches to masses. And also involving all kind of possible help, because this is a crisis. Like if we look for the data from the US CDC, 32.7% youth between 18 to 29 is having either anxiety or depression in US. Like then what else we want it to go down further? So we should also gather all possible resources, and we should be together and share the resources and do things which brings a significant impact. And that would happen through policy level change. And we are world's 18.5% population. And even in India, we fix this problem, then we are fixing a big part of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji. You started your talk with a tapasvi playing a rap song, and that itself is the genius of your approach. I really like that you're not blaming the system, you're not blaming the Gen Z, because there's a lot of blame in the narrative as well. You're saying we will meet them where they are. You're going to the books, you're going to the schools, you're playing rap songs, you're meeting the Prime Minister, and by meeting them where they are, hopefully we can change their minds a bit. So thank you so much for joining us as a chief guest today. Next, I want to call Professor Prajapati. I have been an admirer of your career, sir. Fair or unfair, there is a way of modern science. It's a very Western way, but we have to have evidence and publications, etc., before they would call something valid. And I think you have dedicated your career. You have published about 450 papers yourself. Today, you are leading the All India Institute of Ayurveda, which is taking this modern science-based methodology to our ancient traditions. So I'm really excited to hear from you on your thoughts on Aahaar Kranti.
Thank you, Dr. Praful Krishnaji. It's my pleasure to be here on this platform in the presence of Swami Dattanan Giriji. Thank you for giving a right direction for the coming children. And I am also thankful to Srinivas ji and Rashmi Kulkarni for giving a platform for the development, for the discussion and everything. No doubt it is a very fruitful topic. Today we have selected as Aahaar Kranti because it is now known for each and everyone that on the basis of the Aahaar, there are so many things can be manipulated for your diet and lifestyle modification in different disease conditions also. And I belong to the Ayurveda, and it says in Ayurveda that Aaharo hi paramam ausdam, जैसा खाओगे वैसा रहेगा मन. It's everything is in our tradition. So it depends upon the regional and seasonal variation also. Because as Srinathji is told that half plate is from the fruits and vegetables, it is quite good. But how much time between them, it should be researched. Because advanced researches is now needed for integrative research framework, combining the classical Ayurvedic principles with the modern biomedical methodologies. Without that, it is a very difficult task to give the evidence-based knowledge to our young generation, who is always searching on the online media, and they are very fond of you. And that is a very difficult task. So for that, it is the randomized clinical trials, observation, and pragmatic clinical studies should be done in different higher institutes, as Vivekanand is told that there are so many institutes are in our country, that is Ayush system, ICMR, CSIR, and AIMS. If they are doing such type of studies, then we can give the evidence to the public. This is the effective in different disease condition also, and in for the daily life routine. As you know, that we are eating so much food in daily habits. Everyone knows that, because only 100 gram is required, as Swamiji told, that a mixture of these things of 100 gram is required, not more than that. Somehow we find some Swamiji that they are on water only, so mineral water from the regional side, so they can maintain the all biochemical parameters and everything. So it is high time to preserve our food habits, because we know more than 100 recipes are described in our Ayurvedic classical literature for the Swasthasya Sasarakshanam and Atura Svikarpasmanamcha, both for preventive and for curative. So if we can preserve these type of the recipes, and it is totally depend on regional and seasonal. I always believe that the Punjabis like most makke ki roti and sarson ka saag, while Kerala likes the chawal and rasam. That chawal rasam is not suited for the Punjabis, and just makke ki roti and sarson ka saag is not suited for the Kerala it is. So it is the regional and seasonal variation also. So if we can make proper way, so that we can train our young coming future generation to think on that particular issue, avoid the junk food, because now the studies are coming and they are showing that these type of the foods are making such type of disease conditions. So on the basis of, and because you know that Ayurveda is totally based on the concept of Agni and diet. So if we utna hi khao jitna pacha pao, this is the concept for all these things. Always 2 chapters are described, especially on Aahaar and Matra. So 1/3 should be eaten and 2/3 will be remain vacant. 1/3 for water and 1/3 for food. So 1/3 will remain vacant for all the activities. So it should be maintained. If then we know, looking the Srinivasji young at this age also, for maintaining this diet and lifestyle. So I think that should be maintained, and in particularly because now it's high time for the integrative studies. So examples of the clinical research validation is required. Studies on rasayanas therapies demonstrating the efficacy of these particular diets, immunomodulatory effects, clinical evidences in chronic disease management, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes mellitus, research on Panchakarma interventions, as Rashmi Kulkarni ji is focused on the microbiome, and we got microbiome, we know how it is important, because our whole therapy is based on Panchakarma therapy, means Virechan, Vaman, and Vasti. And all these 3 karmas, we can maintain the GI tract microbiome. Increase the good bacteria, reduces the harmful bacteria. And this study is already taken by ILBS Delhi, and they have proved this. So many things is available nowadays. We can go on that particular text and found something in very drastic way, that we can give something to the society. Interactions, Aahaar, Agni, and modern concept, it is very difficult task to think, display to concept of Agni for the persons who are need scientific validation. But by individual, we can assess it. If our Agni is not quite well, then we always finding the acidity and indigestion, everything, everywhere. And wherever our Agni is right, then we can digest everything, there is no problem. So this also needs correlation between the metabolic efficiency and gut microactivity, concept of metabolic flexibility. Ayurveda emphasis on appropriate digestion, assimilation, and energy utilization aligns with the switching between the fuel sources. Circadian nutrition uh, is very important nowadays because in everywhere in classical literature we have very much focus on the dincharya and ritucharya and everything throughout by the ancient scholars. At that time they have focused and they are living for more than 100 years satayu, and we are living in only 60 or 65 years only. So by maintaining the diet and lifestyle, we can assume that our lifestyle, good habits or better lifestyle can be maintained for a long time. So it is a very interesting topic. Mindful eating, proper combination, parallels with the gut health and metabolic syndrome prevention, gut-brain axis, uh, Aahaar Vidhan, dietary rules has been described, link between Agni, mental health, and systematic well-being, and personalized Prakriti-based dietary planning mirrors precision nutrition. Because it's been described in our classic that on the basis of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and Prakriti-wise diet has been described there. So if this type of study can be incorporated and told to the persons, because we know in children is the growing stage of the our young generation is generally called as the kapha prakop kala. So they need more diet. And in Yuvavastha, that is a pitta prakop kala, then again we need some special diets. And in old age, diet is not much required, but in small quantities, different varieties are required. So for that, that type of the indications are available in classical literatures everywhere. So we can plan and build this Aahaar Kranti. We can promote our whole Ayush Aahaar in the whole world so that we can preserve our traditional knowledge, our production also, because we know more than 30% is food is wasted throughout the country in different hotels or in different conditions. They we can we give the order and eat something. It will not suitable, then we left it. And now it's a habit that they have to preserve it and packed to take their houses for these other persons. So it is a good habit also, but it is developed nowadays. So community-based nutrition program is required nowadays. The development of Prakriti-based dietary guidelines for community-level intervention, as told by the Swamiji, because you know, in whenever we taught anything in the childhood, then it persists for a long time. So in school ages, when we can formulate this, our young children to say that it is a beneficial for their life and they can experience that, then it can persist. Otherwise, everything is gone lost because we have generally, we are studied in Saraswati Mandir, Vidya Mandir, and we have learned so many things in my childhood. But as I joined our graduation program, then every lifestyle, every diet has been destroyed. Maximum 10% persons maintain their lifestyle and dietary habits at that level. So that is the main, probably main focus area where we can change from childhood to young age. So graduation level studies should be maintained, and for that we can plan such a things which has been by the movie or by the songs or by the influencers. We can propagate this particular aspect, so it will be better for all of us. I know the Poshan Abhiyan, midday meal scheme, national program prevention and NCDs, because we are so many things is going on. Balanced diet as per dosas, importance of Agni digestion, establishment of Ayurveda, nutrition, clinics at PSC and CSC levels. And as Vigyan Bharati told you, Vivekanand sir told that in what are the Congress, we are generally focusing on especially on the diet and lifestyles mainly. So there's so many outcomes have been come nowadays, and they are propagated throughout the region. So I think the contribution of national well-being is most appropriate nowadays. By Ayurveda supports a preventive and promotive healthcare model, reducing the disease burden, cost-effective strategy for NCD prevention and management, enhance nutrition security, not just for food security, aligning the with One Health approach, linking environment, agriculture, and human health, extends holistic well-being, physical, mental, and social health. All the aspects will be covered in such a direction that so balance would be everywhere. Otherwise, it is very difficult task to maintain the sustainability. So I think we are in the right direction. I think we have enough knowledge, enough data for our young children. And certainly we need some intervention studies in different higher institutes that can give the good result for the newer generation. So thank you all of you for giving me a platform to say something, though it is a very known personalities for the diet and lifestyles, because all they can maintain, they are maintaining their lifestyles and diet. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Pradap. I was very encouraged to hear what you're saying, and you're in the right position to make all these changes happen. One of the early tenets of Aahaar Kranti itself was Shatayu Bharat. There is nothing biologically that stops us. It's these kind of so-called corruptions in our lifestyle that lead to bad health outcomes. So thank you very much for coming here. I did see Mangilal Jarji also here. I'm not sure if he was able to.
Yes, I'm there.
Welcome, sir. I just want to introduce you properly. You are also leading another agency in India in the ICAR. What I was researching about you, what I really was very intrigued by is that right from early on, you have not focused just on the crop yield out of land. You have focused on the health of the land. You have focused on the idea around how can we increase the nutrition value and of the crop and increase the value of the whole system. And again, that goes back to the sustainability and some of the early tenets of Aahaar Kranti as well. So I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts.
Thank you so much. First of all, my apologies for joining a bit late because of other engagement. There are a lot of things going on, so I had to be there. But my sincere thanks to you for this very important dialogue on Aahaar Kranti. And I was listening Swami ji and Prajapati ji. Very enriching. I think that's what we truly need. In terms of securing our future, because health, if we are healthy, if we can ensure that people are healthy, I think that's what is the future. And from that perspective, and you mentioned about the organization, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, which is the apex organization of the country to steer the agriculture research and development process. And in that context, what I see, I was reading, in fact, I delivered Lal Bahadur Shastri memorial lecture a few weeks back, and the title was Agriculture for Health. So I think, that's where I see the future. And if I look at the ICMR's, one of the report, which indicates that 56.4% of the chronic diseases, the non-communicable diseases, are because of the food what we eat and also our lifestyle, associated lifestyle. And that's as a big volume in that context. That means agriculture has to play a significant role in terms of the health, not only the food per se, but the health of the people. And in that context, I think what we are working on is developing the biofortified varieties and the crops, which can help in terms of addressing the issue of the malnourishment. And there's a lot going on, many of those crops. And if I cite the example of wheat, for example, now whatever varieties are grown in India, 45% of that is already biofortified. The issue is different and how that is channelized into the foods chain and all those things. But there's a whole lot of focus, so we're working. But at the same time, we also need to think about revival of our local food system. And I know when I was a child in my village and what we used to eat on all of the local food. And now it's even in the farm households, and there are studies which clearly indicates that even the farm households are on the market-based food, which is not a good idea. So I think we truly need to revive. And I was listening about what Prajapati ji mentioned about the test, the Punjabis versus the South Indian. And I think that's where, if we really talk about nutrition has to fit into the taste of the people. It's we Indians generally like the taste, and so whatever nutrition we push into, that has to truly fit into the taste of the people. So that's need a little different approach. But and a mention was made about the microbiome, and I think it's from the soil to the gut microbiome. That's the trajectory we have to see. So whatever we do in the soil will go to the gut microbiome, and that's the clear trajectory. So I think we have to set our soils right, our environment right, and get that food which is produced and fed to the people. And that's clearly needs a holistic approach or holistic view of the food system, not the crop and commodity, but a complete food system from the perspective of the health and nutrition. And the government of India's the program on One Health, which is as of now primarily on the genetics, but I think that clearly connect from the soil to the plant to the the animal to the human and the environmental side of the health. Now, government of India also, and our honorable Prime Minister emphasizing time and again about these aspects, and that's why the government of India launched this mission on natural farming with a larger target, not only minimizing the chemical use in agriculture, but also towards self-reliance, because we can't depend on the imports and things like that. So we have to generate our own resources, but also the health and healthy food, which is a significant program launched last year. And there's a lot of good progress and now in terms of generating evidence, what works where, and how to take that forward. So there's a lot of work going on that particular aspect. But from the agriculture for health perspective, and together with the Indian Council of Agriculture Research and Indian Council of Medical Research, and Prajapati ji mentioned about the clinical trials and things like that. And I think that's what is something important. And so we can't work in isolation. I think we have to connect the dots, and connecting the dots needs working together. So we came together. So ICR and ICMR, we are trying to work together on this program on agriculture for health, then which we make like a Sehat. Sehat stands for science excellence for health through agricultural transformation, and I think that's what is really needed. So we are working. A mention was made about the medicinal aromatic plants and Ayurvedas, and I think that's also another opportunity for India, given the new budget announcements recently. Focusing on the Ayurveda, and ICR itself got a dedicated institute on medicinal and aromatic plant. But I think we truly need to mainstream everything. It's not producing food and healthy food, but I think the behavioral aspects, the education at different levels, right from the school to the higher education education institutions, and also the societal aspects. And in that context, I must compliment and congratulate the organizers for this very, very important discussion. I can go on talking, but I think let me pause here. And I truly look forward to reconnect and have a detailed discussion on this topic, because topic is something very important and very relevant to what we do and what country need. So with this, thank you so much, and look forward, continue, talking and having dialogue and working together. Thank you.
I really, really admire the spirit, sir. You're 100% right that in isolation, none of us can achieve this. But working together, there's so many different aspects of it. And sounds like there's so much good work happening all around if we work together. So we'll definitely follow up with each of you and see if you can join Aahaar Kranti and continue towards this march. So let's now open it up to questions and answers. If I can request the administrator to get all the panelists in the screen view. While you're doing that, Yellowchin, I'll ask my first question to you. And we are waiting for audience questions also. You have been in many ways the spearhead of Aahaar Kranti for a bit now, and now you reside in the US, and you have still been working across the diaspora as well as in India to make this happen. How do you see that bridge? Because the problems are not unique to India, and based on some of our conversation, the Nutrition 360 program that you're talking about, how do you think about the relevance of this problem to the whole world, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, versus just in India?
Okay, thank you for asking this question. What I will do is I'll just quickly go through a few slides that was prepared specifically for one conference in Dubai. This was held in the month of February, and this was the third international conference on Ayurveda and Expo. And your question is, how do we see Aahaar Kranti related to probably rest of the world? Okay, let me skip the slides that are not important. So this is one of the things that I think we need to recognize. Although the type of issues are slightly different, but the degree more or less very similar in lines. For example, the country, whether it is economically well-doing or not, the issue remains very similar. There are significantly increasing cases of ADHD, autism, mental health. Of course, C-section delivery is going out of proportion. Early onset of non-communicable diseases, early menarche, and its implication, obesity. One of the things that we need to recognize, I think our Rashmiji mentioned, I really love this video because it communicates very, very profoundly. What this video is going to tell us is what happens if the expecting mothers eat a lot of junk food, a lot of chemicals, preservatives, this and that. This is about 1.5 minutes video. Kindly take a look into it and see the consequences that is there. Some of you might have seen this video in the past.
It all starts with our very first meals, even before birth. The brain is built up during pregnancy. How it functions later on depends on how it has been nourished by the expectant mother's diet over 9 months. A number of consequences of poor nutrition during gestation have been known for a long time. Today, scientists in Australia are looking at the repercussions of nutrition on brain function. Felice Chaka, a professor at the University of Melbourne, examined the behavior of babies after following the eating habits of 23,000 pregnant women.
We measured their intake of junk and processed foods. We measured their intake of the healthful foods, foods with lots of fibre and nutrients, etc. And then we looked at the emotional health of their children over the first few years of life, from 18 months to 5 years. Of course, taking into account things such as education, income, the mother's mental health, parenting practices, these sorts of things. And what we saw very clearly was that mothers who ate more junk and processed foods, so sweet drinks and salty snacks and, cakes, biscuits during their pregnancy, their children had more of these behaviours such as aggression and anger and tantrums.
This disquieting correlation suggests that the mother's diet impacts the mental development of the baby, though the link remains to be demonstrated on the biological level. In any case,
see the impact of all the chemicals that people are eating, it has drawn attention globally. And here is a study about how the ultra-processed foods needs very immediate action. And of course, in the 21st century, the digital addiction is another major thing that we need to struggle with it. Now, if you look, the amount of money spent globally, all these dollars mentioned here is hidden cost, because once someone is diagnosed as either cancer or diabetes, then their visits to the doctor, to the pharmacy, to the lab tests, as well as other accessories keeps on increasing, and that is about $13 trillion out of our global economy of $110 trillion. The problem is not only for India, it is at the global level. Now, very, very interestingly, if you go into the root of the problem, what do you see? That just by adjusting your diet and the lifestyle, all these health issues can be very easily and effectively tackled. So, as we recognize that today is a 5th anniversary of Aahaar Kranti, and Nutrition 360 was also launched in USA. Why? I will give the answer at the end of it. So, our awareness in outside India is about prioritizing well-being. Can we treat food not only for nourishment, but also as medicine? And Prajapati ji mentioned, and even Mangilal ji mentioned about our opposite food, the Viruddha. And how can we think about reducing packaged foods, adding more spices in our food? Whenever it is required, can we think of doing some fasting for cleansing and detoxification? Can we use food items and food diet and food lifestyle in order to develop immunity in us? And last one is, can we utilize the medicinal properties of the food items to treat some of the ailments in the early stages so that they don't haunt us tomorrow later? So the gut bacteria, Rashmiji mentioned, I also showed one of the video. So what is the proposed solution? It is at individual level. Our focus is about bringing overall well-being to the individuals. Can this Nutrition 360 help in developing and strengthening the immunity because we are eating food as medicine? Because of our understanding of good food, we will naturally and probably by forcing ourselves, reduce the consumption of chemicals, which is the primary cause for many of these non-communicable diseases. And as I mentioned, can we use these food items as minor ailments? Now, in this process, in India is okay, but at the global level, if something is coming out of India, they always want to have some amount of trust, some amount of information so that they can have confidence. So we have figured out 4 specific paths. One is modern science data. Second one is evidence-based clinical studies. Third one is already validated the principles from Ayurveda. And last one is, you may not have time to integrate, but these things take generations to study, but we'll absorb the Ayurveda concept as is, and using those 4 pillars, we can build trust in the community. And also when you say evidence-based data, here is a study from Dr. Emily Little, which proves that the milk produced by mother is different if it is a boy or a girl, it is day or night, when it is sick or not. So is it just nourishment, breast milk? No. Similarly, recently in West Bengal, they did studies about natural deliveries and cord clamping, and finding was very interesting. Cord clamping can provide significant benefit for the children, as well as the natural delivery helps mothers to recoup very fast. So in Nutrition 360, we started doing in New York, and then we went to all the 6 consulates functioning today. The Los Angeles and Boston will be launching next month or so. And then this is the message for all of us. The principles of diet, Ayurveda principles, are rooted in Bharat. And we all know if something happens in Vegas, it remains in Vegas. But if something happens in US, it can happen everywhere in the world. That is what we are trying to take it and take from India to the global level, starting first kadam being in my current hometown or home country, which is America. Thank you, Prafullaji.
No, thank you, Alaji. I mean, the problems are universal, and this is another area where India can lead the world in many ways, and developing world for sure, but not also developed world. My next question is to Swamiji, and if you look at the chat threads, there's so much curiosity about the things that you shared about your own lifestyle and your eating habits and the things, and obviously the results are they speak for themselves. So my question for you is there a way, all of us and others can interact with you or can understand more about your diet and your lifestyle? Is there a public forum? Is there some class you take, or is there some other way that you're thinking about that we can learn more from you?
Right now, I'm living based in Los Angeles, in Santa Monica, and everyone is welcomed. It's a free meditation center where we start the classes at 6 a.m. and it goes till 10 p.m. And then I was going to different sakas also in the US and different places. So I'll come visit in your city as well. For next 3 to 4 months, I'm in Bharat for this implementation of the curriculum, and Aahaar Kranti is included in it.
Very nice. Very nice.
So to give it a push, meditation.ca is the website I have. And to be in touch, Laughing Monk Official is the Instagram.
Laughing Monk Official?
Right.
Your social media skills will put Gen Z to shame. So that's amazing. Thank you very much. And then the other theme that is emerging amongst the audience questions is really about today. I mean, probably it's easier in US, but in India, if we want to follow the sattvic diet, but there's so many preservatives and so many pesticides that come through the system. Even if you go to organic and other things, if there's just so much leaking through. So this is for yourself, Swamiji, and for other panelists as well. How can one avoid those parts in our nutrition?
Like how I avoided in the US, taking things which would have less chances of it. So, and also as a lifestyle, new in US and also not used to of eating restaurant. I never had food. So I would take 25 almonds and 20 dates and cardamom and grind it and drink it, and rest fruit and veggies. So in fruit and in veggies, as in whatever best available. And so that was mostly my diet was, and it worked very well. I also had 5-6 coconut every day, so that was I felt less chances of getting put any kind of fertilizer in it, and chances are lesser of putting any pesticide on it. But yeah, other experts will suggest many more things.
Go ahead, Dr. Rao or Dr. Kulkarni, if you have any thoughts there.
I just want to show something very quickly. So I just want to show this bread that I bought on 14th Feb. Yeah, no words.
Please
So
do not eat it.
if microbes also don't want to eat that food, you should definitely not be eating it, because I had no idea. I bought it from a very renowned, very expensive place, and I had no idea. It was by chance that I left it outside for more than a month and no microbes have grown. So you're right in talking about the pesticides, fertilizers, and ripening agents. So it is a good idea to buy something that insects would like to eat, that germs would like to eat, that actually gets spoiled if you leave it outside. And if we buy it locally and seasonally, the plants are not forced to grow that food. You're not forcing the plants. So that is the healthiest way of choosing things. That is how I choose my food. Of course, I'm not escaping the fertilizers and pesticides, but ripening agents, I am able to control it by buying things first that are grown locally. That is the first thing I do. If it is not available, then I go to other areas that are slightly further away.
So it's a better way to promote the organic farming by healthy soil, because we are not considering the healthy soil. Healthy soil for healthy food and healthy population concept should be needed, because now it is proved that our cows, they are having the cow's urine and cow dung will best organic fertilizer for the crops. So it should be practiced and propagated, then it would not be so much problem. But everywhere we can find that the frozen foods, it's a problem for us everywhere. Now the companies are developing the frozen food, and these are supplied in big houses and big restaurants. So please aware yourself and your children also. Thank you.
Yeah. Raji, did you have any thought as well on this issue? Dr. Rao?
No.
Okay.
I think it's covered well.
Yeah. So I think we are on time, and I would now like to call on Sumit ji to give a vote of thanks. But before we go a formal vote of thanks, I just want to conclude by saying this is been such a fascinating session for me personally. And I think the biggest takeaway I'm taking is I'm just walking away with is that there are so many interesting approaches to this problem. Two things are in common. All these approaches are trying to tie up the modern culture with our rooted Indian values, and this is the critical thing. And second, it feels like everyone is trying to work together, everyone is trying to collaborate, and that is where hopefully we can play a role to bring dignitaries like you on the same platform, and jointly we can do something. So thank you very much, and I would like Sumiji to come and give a word of thanks. Yaluji, please go ahead.
Yeah. So Prafulji, before Sumiji formally comes, I think I need to personally acknowledge the contributions for so many people in taking this movement from few of us. Today it has become national and it is going to become international, because when I presented it in Dubai, I gave a clarion call suggesting that every country, wherever Ayurveda faculty is there, fraternity is there, they should take up this one. The couple of other things I just want to mention about the quality of the content that has been come out of this exercise, and it is still evolving. And when we shared this with Ayush Ministry, they went through some of the models and they said this is the best model that we have, and therefore they have the partnership with us. We have taken as the knowledge partner. Ministry of Women and Child did the same thing. And previous director of Aya, Tanuja Nesariji, embraced this Aahaar Kranti so well, and she gave their space for conducting activities and event and also supported significantly. So is ICAR. So with these supports and the encouragement, which is based upon contributions from, I don't know, Rashmiji, is it about 70, 80, 100 people who contributed in developing the modules?
Yeah, it was around that. About
Yeah,
100, I
so
would
this
say.
Somebody is in India, somebody in West Coast, somebody in East Coast, somebody in Germany, somebody in Doha, Europe, whatnot. All the countries coming together and developing these modules is humongous. So my personal gratitude to each and everyone who is here and who is going to become partners tomorrow. With that, I'll stop here. Back to you, Prafullaji.
Actually, back to Sumit ji now.
या
Sumit
जी नमस्ते सभी को प्रणाम। बहुत एनर्जेटिक सेशन था आई थिंक, और जैसे कि हमारी मैसेजेस में लोगों की क्यूरियोसिटी है वो हमें सामने दिख रही है, तो मैं तो यादवजी राव जी को बोलूंगा ऐसे सेशन हर मंथ में होने चाहिए। तो सबसे पहले मैं आज हमारे 5th एनिवर्सरी सेलिब्रेशन के लिए हम सब जो इकट्ठा हुए हैं इसके लिए विज्ञान भारती, सेवा इंटरनेशनल और GIST तीनों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं एक सफल कार्यक्रम का आयोजन करने के लिए। और इसके बाद हम हमारे चीफ गेस्ट स्वामी अधिवेतानंद गिरी जी और गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर श्री मांगीराम जाट जी, इनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं। उन्होंने अपना कीमती समय निकाला और हमारे 5th एनिवर्सरी सेलिब्रेशन प्रोग्राम की शान को बढ़ाया। और हमारे आज के पैनलिस्ट श्री विवेकानंद पई जी, जनरल सेक्रेटरी विज्ञान भारती, और अय्या के डायरेक्टर श्री प्रदीप कुमार जी, इनका हमारे प्रोग्राम से जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। विज्ञान भारती के बारे में विवेकानंद पई जी ने विस्तार से बताया और श्री प्रदीप कुमार जी ने आहार की वैल्यूज के बारे में आयुष के साथ कैसे जोड़कर तो सारा एक्सप्लेन किया। बहुत धन्यवाद जी। और जिस्ट के हमारे स्पीकर डॉक्टर रश्मि जी, श्रीनिवास जी, और हमारे कोऑर्डिनेटर आज के प्रफुल्ल जी, जिनका बहुत बड़ा योगदान है इस सेशन को कंडक्ट करने में। सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और स्पेशल थैंक्स यादवजी राव जी, जिस्ट के ग्लोबल कन्वीनर, और हमारे नंद कुमार जी, जनरल सेक्रेटरी जिस्ट इंडिया, जिनके एक छोटे से कॉल पे पूरे देश के हमारे कार्यकर्ता उत्तर से लेके दक्षिण तक, असम से लेके जयपुर तक, सारे आज इस मीटिंग में एक साथ एकत्रित हैं। और एक यादवजी राव जी, आपको बधाई एक और भी देता हूँ, ये हमारा प्लेटफॉर्म 100 लोगों का ही था। मैं तो फोन को ही कंट्रोल करते करते लोगों की क्वेरीज कि मैं नहीं जुड़ पा रहा, तो इस चीज को हैंडल करते करते ही मेरे को लगता है हमें एक 1000 प्लेटफॉर्म पे ऐसा सेशन करना चाहिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी को एक बार फिर से। ओवर टू यू प्रफुल्ल जी।
Thank you, Sumit ji. And that concludes our session. आप सब लोग आए, आप सब लोग हमसे जुड़े. We are very lucky. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Namaskar.
सभी को प्रणाम. गुड नाइट.